Hey everybody, this is Keith here of Euphoria Pictures. Welcome back to my channel. Right, so I picked this up a couple of days ago. I watched it as well, and I felt that's only right that I do a quick video just to share my thoughts on the 4K transfer. So yes, we are talking about boss level. Yes, on 4K Blu-ray, amazing. The first thing I'm going to say about this now is I'm actually quite amazed that I own this movie on 4K, and I'll tell you why. Because there a couple of weeks back, I done a video on my top 10 worst looking 4K transfers, and at number 1 I had Olympus Is Falling at number 1. It was the biggest joke you can ever see on the 4K format. The picture is just hideous. But the company that brought that out is called Leonine, I think they're called, and they are the same company that has done this one. So I was very skeptical, and I think I did say in that video that I would never get anything from this company again. But of course they announced Boss Level. I'm such a fan of this movie, and of course it comes in this beautiful media book as well, and I took a gamble on it. And I have to admit, for the most part the gamble has paid off. But it does have issues, but I will get into that now more in a second. But the movie itself, you know, I can't tell you how much I love this kind of time loop movies, kind of movies like Groundhog Day, Edge of Tomorrow. This is definitely up there with them. It's such an unbelievable movie. Frank Grillo in this movie is phenomenal. He really is. He's caught in a time loop. He can't seem to survive past this one day. And the whole movie is him trying to find out why this is happening to him. But the creative ways that he dies in this movie is so unbelievably funny. You know, it's he's been hunted down by these assassins all during this movie, and some of the ways that he does get killed will leave you in tears laughing. I have to admit, it's one of the funniest films I've seen in the last 10 years. And yeah, like I said, as soon as it got announced on 4K, you know, I had to take a gamble on it. You've also got supporting players like Mel Gibson in this. He's the villain of the movie. You've also got Naomi Watts. She's the kind of love interest. And yeah, look, it's a great, fun, over-the-top action movie. It's incredibly funny. There is even elements of John Wick in this, especially when you see the ending of it. Some of the action sequences, it does have that kind of John Wick feel to it. And the only problem I kind of have with the movie is its very abrupt ending. It does have that kind of to be continued kind of feel to it. And whether we get that, I'm not sure, because this movie had a 45 million budget. It had serious trouble when it came to distribution. And I think it ended up getting it got released on streaming services. Now, I'm not sure, has it made the money back, it made its budget back? I honestly don't know. They've said nothing about it. So yeah, fingers crossed that we do get a continuation to this, because if we don't, that ending can be a bit sour. Right, so I'm going to show you this media book, and then I'm going to go back and talk about the 4K transfer. So yeah, let's get to it. Right, so here we go, the Boss Level media book. You know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to just remove this J card. I will actually quickly just show you the back of the J card, and then I'm going to go on to the media book itself. But I will hold this up fairly close so you can see there is only a making of on the bonus material. It's a bit of a shame that I would have liked to have seen more on it. And that's a few of the technical aspects as well. So yeah, I just wanted to quickly just show this J card and then just remove it, put it to the side, and show the media book off properly. So here we go, the media book itself. And I actually am digging on the colour scheme for this media book. I think it looks absolutely beautiful, and the artwork looks amazing as well. So you know, you got Frank Grillo, you've got Mel Gibson, Naomi Watts, and you've got one of the assassins there on the right. She's actually very funny in the movie, it has to be said as well. It's such a great movie, and yeah, loved this artwork. The minute I seen it, I knew I wanted it. So take us to the spine of it. You got Boss Level. And then to the back, and even the back artwork looks absolutely stunning. It's one of those media books you can display either way. You know, you have Boss Level written on the bottom, you have it written on the other side as well. So I like that. I like the way that you kind of have almost like two different kind of alternate artworks for this. I think it's a very smart choice, the way they've done that. And yeah, really am digging on that. And let me see if I can open the whole thing out and just show you it in full. So yeah, lovely, lovely media book. No complaints on my end. So we'll open it up, and so you have that is the 4K disc there, and then move around to the back, and that is your Blu-ray disc. So I'm going to just run through these the pictures quickly, or the pages, sorry. Again, I don't have to tell you, this is all in German. I am just in the process of actually downloading. I've been told by a few people to download this Google Lens, and it will translate all this for me. So I'm going to be doing that very, very soon. So it'll actually be very handy for a lot of these German media books. So that is boss level, and that is the media book. And again, definitely gets my stamp of approval. I really think it's a beautiful looking media book, and if you're a fan of the movie, definitely worth checking out. Right folks, so there you have it. That is the media book itself, and yeah, digging on some of the artwork on this media book, it looks quite amazing. Right, so on to the 4K transfer. Well, actually, before we do get onto the 4K transfer, let's go through a few technical aspects first. It's got an aspect ratio of 240:1. It supports Dolby Vision and HDR. It's got a DTS HD Master 5.1 audio. It's got a running time of 101 minutes. And it's a native 4K disc. Right, so when I knocked this movie on, the first thing I said to myself was, okay, it looks better than the Blu-ray. It's not what you call a major leap over the Blu-ray, but it definitely looks better than the Blu-ray. I can tell you now that the DNR that they used on Olympus Is Falling is definitely not on this release. Even though there is times where I felt there might have been DNR being used. I'll get more into that now in a second. But when I knocked this on, there was a bit of grain you could see on this movie. But the grain looked very artificial in my eyes. It just didn't look right. And it looked a little noisy at times. And then all of a sudden, it'll be gone. You know, it was there for one scene and then it'll be gone for another. Now, and that's what I'm talking about with the DNR. I don't know if there was a bit of light DNR being used on this. It didn't seem like though it was, but again, I'm not quite sure what was going on with that grain. It does appear in the movie every now and again, but it wasn't consistent. So, so yes, there's a little bit of inconsistency when it comes to the grain in this movie. It just doesn't look... It doesn't look right in my eyes, it has to be said. The fine detail does look quite amazing. Again, when you look at the facial details, clothing, textures, there is an incredible amount of fine detail. But then there'll be other scenes where that fine detail is not there. And again, going back, maybe there is a little element of DNR being used. Again, do not take my word for it. I can't be, you know, it's not as obvious as some other movies that I have seen with DNR. So again, I can't be too sure. The black levels for the most part look quite decent. I could have done with them being a little bit more inkier, but for the most part they do look good, as well as the shadow detail. You can see fine detail as well across the board on, you know, interiors, exteriors, all that kind of stuff. The only thing I will say about this movie is, with the 4K release, some of the CGI scenes now look incredibly poor. Now look, they never look great from the get-go. They just don't, they're just more evident now of how poor they actually do look. Especially when you do see some of the explosions in this movie. They are so incredibly fake looking. And yeah, the 4K really just enhances that kind of, yeah, fakeness. The Dolby Vision it's fine. I won't say it's you know, it makes a monster difference to this picture. The colours are very natural looking, so if you're looking for a movie that, you know, has, you know, eye-popping colour, you're not going to get it with this. Again, natural I think is the right word for it. The DTS 5.1 audio is for the most part fine, even though I felt at the start of the movie some of the dialogue was being drowned out by some of the heavier action scenes. But it seemed to be only at the start of the movie, and then as the movie went on, I had no problems whatsoever. There's a great sense of separation with the speakers, and you do get a nice sense of atmosphere as well. So yes, the DTS 5.1 audio is quite decent. Again, it would have been nice to get Atmos, but I had a feeling we were never going to get that anyway. So all in all, folks, I was pleased with the 4K transfer. I think once you go into this knowing that it's not going to be the best looking 4K disc you will ever own, I think you should be okay with that. And if you are a fan of this movie, I do recommend picking up the 4K release, especially this media book. It does look beautiful. So that is it, folks. That is it. So as per usual, if you did like this video, please do give it a thumbs up. And if you could leave a comment down below and please share your thoughts on this movie. And yeah, I hope to see you all again real soon with my next video. Until then, I'll see you soon. Bye bye.